this video we're going to be looking at comparison operators. Comparison operators compare two values with each other to determine whether or not a statement is true or false. The first one we will be looking at is the double equal sign. I'll create two variables. Sets both to true. And then I'll use a comparison variable to compare the two values. And log the output. So var1, which is set to true, and var2 set to true, will of course equal true. I'll set var2 to false, save, and refresh. With the double equal signed comparison, we can compare two numbers which are true. Now, I'll set var2 to a string of 1 rather than just the number 1 that we have located within our var1 variable. I'll save, refresh, and this is also true. Our second comparison operator that we'll be looking at will be triple equal sign. I'll switch this to the triple equal sign comparison operator and we'll run this. And it returns false as opposed to the double equals, which returns true. This is because the triple equal comparison operator evaluates both whether or not it holds the same value and is of the same type as whatever is being compared. The third comparison operator will be exclamation mark with an equal sign. This is the equivalent to is not. I'll set var1 to true. And I'll set var2 to false. Now, as var1 is true and var2 is false, var1 does not equal var2, so this should return true. But if we set both of these values to true, var1 does not equal var2, which is false, so this should return false. We can compare strings. var1 does not equal var2 as both have different strings, so this should return true. We'll set one of these values to a number and we'll set the other to a string with the same number. And this returns false. If we add a double equal sign after the exclamation mark, this returns true because var1 does not explicitly equal var2, as var2 is a string and var1 is a number, as opposed to exclamation mark equals var2, where var1 and var2 are considered the same value. We'll set var1 to a smaller number than var2, and then we'll use the less than sign to compare the two variables. Variable 1, which contains 3, is less than variable 2, which contains 6. This should equate to true. If we change the less than sign to greater than, this should return false. We can also use less than or equal to determine whether or not a value is less than or equal to the value that we are comparing it to. So we'll change this to 3 is less than 6, or 3 is less than equal to 6, which should return true. Now, if we remove the equal to sign and we compare these two values, 6 is not less than 6, so this should return false. But 6 is less than or equal to 6 should return true. And we can switch the less than symbol for a greater than symbol. In this case, this will return true because 6 is greater than or equal to 6. But 4 is not greater than or equal to 6. And that's a quick summary of comparison operators. These are useful for a variety of uses, such as for and while loops, and a lot of other aspects of coding that we'll get into in future tutorials. For our next tutorial, we'll be looking at logical operators.